You want to see my routine? So every morning I got my coffee, I walk around. There's our main guy, Adrian. They set up and ran one of the hardest jobs on these machines. This is a 7-axis screw machine. We're making these little screws. There's a 12-foot bar. It's 5/8 diameter that's in this channel right here. And then there's some tools performing operations on the bar. So the bar's turning at about 7,000 RPM. That is really fast for a machine because you can imagine you have a bar that's 5/8 diameter spinning at 7,000 RPM. So if there's any vibration or the bar's bent, it'll blow up. It'll actually destroy this whole machine. So it's really critical to make sure you have straight bars and that they're precision ground and they're not bent. This is one. He's one of our grinding and lathe guys. What tolerance you holding on this?
Everything.
And you check every part like this?
Every part.
He moves at 20 millionths, which is 0.000020. On that type of job is like critical for aerospace. I mean, there's a lot of grinding going on in aerospace, mainly because the tolerances are so tight. So if you really want to hold a really tight tolerance consistently, you got to use a grinding machine. And that's what he's doing there. So these guys are very specialized people we have here. That gentleman there's probably got 30 years experience. Just one little mess up or he's not paying attention and you're throwing $1,000 parts in the trash pretty quick. So, then I go over here and I talk to my other friend, Victor. I want to make sure everybody's doing their work. How are these ones? It's good?
Cool.
These are knot pullers for the reels. Like you want to tie your braided line to your mono or your fluorocarbon, you use this to kind of tighten the line. So what I'm gonna do now is close it up, let the machine progress to the next operation. Since this robot's intelligent, it's checking its gripper to make sure that the pins are set for the right bar size. So one side of the grippers grabs the bar stock, and the ones that are going now grabs the actual finished part. The robot knows that there's no parts on this side, and it knows there's parts on the back side, so it's gonna move it. It's a big advantage over the old technology because when you have one program, the one thing it needs to do is have some type of intelligence to know the difference between one part and another part, and it does. She's always there for you. Every day I come to work, she's there. This is an amazing machine, one of my favorites. Every one of your Valiant frames, any of your original Boss Reel frames, and all your turn frames for sure are all done here. Makes out a solid bar, little pucks. The robot loads it in the chuck here. It does all the internal work on this part. So it comes over here, it cuts all the windows out. It comes over and does the base foot. The machine does everything in one shot. These are all the different size frames. So I can go from this big one here, the 1000, to our smallest one, these little 300s. And the robot works great too. What we do is we load all the bar stuck here, and then it loads it in the machine. Runs unattended. You know, it'll run unattended for 24 hours, no problem. Great machine though. So watch, I'll show you another one. We have a whole bunch of these, by the way. We have like 3 of these machines in the shop. The only difference is it's not doing frames, it's doing spools. So it takes a piece of bar stock like this, right? We're all done, this job just finished. It did this, when I was at lunch, it did all these. I set it before I left. So this is the 800 spool. We have to hold 5/10 on this bearing diameter right here, that side, and the run out from the bearing diameter to the outside diameter is gotta be within 2 thousandths. So this thing does it all day long. No problems. Oh, this is a good one. This is a cast control for the turn reel. So this in the raw states, you can tell there's a little bit of burrs. We'll clean those up when it goes into polish. And you see these little holes around the outside? We assemble little pins in there, and then little weights go on the pins. And so when you cast the reel and the spool's going a little bit too fast, it's overrunning, those little weights come out. The centrifugal force forces the weights out, and then it slows the spool down. It's a critical mechanism for the cast control. Part of the secret. John, we go all day with this shit. We're doing a setup on this machine right now. It's a 7-axis Swiss screw machine. So highly complicated, many things going on at one time. But we're making this little gear shaft. Their main gear goes on top of here. Your anti-reverse bearing goes on here. So this is like about a 5-hour setup. He's putting all his tooling in the machine. And then what he'll do next, once he gets all his tools in there, you can see the programming here we wrote. And then if you go over here, is the program for the back side. If you ever want to drive yourself crazy, learn how to run one of these. So there's another Swiss screw machine, 7-axis, smaller machine. A lot of you guys will recognize this on your reel. You know, you would see this portion come out of your reel, you want to go to the low gear, you would push in, and then you go back into high gear, it goes back out. So this is a screw that supports it. So you can look at this part, you can see on it, it's got these threads here, so there's a tool that threads it with a little threading tool. Then it drills the hole, puts a little brake on the inside. It does this hex around the outside. You can hear that right now. A little end mill goes, rrr, rrr, rrr. And then what it'll do is, it comes over and it grabs it, and then a tool comes over and cuts it off. That's what it's doing right now. Made in America. This is the anodizing and polishing department. So everything that comes back here from production that's aluminum gets polished. You kind of see some stuff over here that's been polished, and then it gets anodized. And so we do it all in-house, and it's very unique. There's not really a lot of companies that have their own anodizing facility in-house. So we do all of it, all the colors, everything. Like, you look at these little mahi reels we just did. He splattered all this paint, this blue paint on here. It was all done by hand, and everyone is different from the other. They're all special. We do it in-house. Took my brother a good 2 years just to figure out this process. Anodizing takes the aluminum and it opens it up. All the pores in the aluminum open up. You introduce some color to it, it'll actually suck it up into the metal, and then what we do is we seal it. And when you seal it, now the part's, indestructible pretty much. Salt water doesn't bother it, fresh water, everything. And it has a protective coating over the aluminum, so it's really strong. And this is where he does his custom painting. You can see in here, he's done some of it already. Look at this. So you can feel the room is a little warm in here. We keep it like probably about 90 degrees. But all these are what we call in the open state. That's open aluminum that's ready to receive paint or ink. And what he'll do next is, you can see all this splatter on the wall. He'll take a little air hose and he'll take his little brush and he'll splatter next all over this part. It custom makes it. He just did these black ones. But like I said before, he hand does all this. He takes this little paintbrush. It's a very, very precise process. If he touches this, or if some water gets on it, or if his hand touches it, it'll ruin the part. So he's got to be really careful what he's doing. Yeah, so here what we're looking at, these are all the parts that they've been produced, turned, milled, lathed, and then we've polished them, and they're in the raw state. So these are all ready to be anodized. So what we do is, let's say one of our customers calls up and orders like 10, let's say, BV500s. All the available parts are here ready to go. So we have a lady that comes over, she picks and chooses the individual parts, puts it on a tray, they go and get racked up, and then they go into anodizing. Within about 2 or 3 hours, they're done. Really efficient way to be able to meet our customer demands. We can do it from different sizes, different reels, really quickly. If you order reels, probably within about 48 hours, your reel is probably in the room being built. So this is the reel room, and these ladies assemble these reels from, we call it cradle to grave. So all the parts, here's some mahi reels right here that we're doing. Again, you can see all the parts have been colored, hand painted. Everything that's been done in the shop right now in terms of making parts all ends up in here. They take it from the very beginning, from the knob, the handle, the spool, all the little screws and fasteners, and they put the whole reel together 100%. And when they're done building the reel, it goes into the inspection room. And so we know who built the reel and we know who inspected the reel. So if anything were to go wrong or be some type of issue or something goes on with the customer, wants to know what happened to the reel, all that's documented inside of our system. This is all of our bar stock here that we buy. Every diameter you see, this size here, would probably be for like an 80 size reel. You start going to smaller bar stock like this, probably for like a 600. But all of it corresponds with the diameter of the reel. Like if you look at a reel, let's say it's 3 inches, you would use like a bar that'd be a little bit bigger than 3 inches. So probably one of these right here. But this is how all your reels start out. This is for the fireman rescue raft, the rescue sled that we're making. So, but this reel is really what they call a 200. It's a 130 size reel, but bigger. So we call it a 200. For your star drag reel, there's your star. And then it ends up over here. It does fully automatic. It makes about 40 parts on its own. We make it from solid bar, stronger, lighter. The code to make this thing, it took me probably about 2 weeks just to write the code. Every time I hit the button here, it's a page. All of it in here. These are the drag washers for the 600 Valiant reel, right? So what we do is, we go out and have this puck made. It puts this internal geometry in there, and then We load this in our machine in about 2 minutes it makes this. So right, what it's doing right now is it's threading that ID right there, internal diameter, and it's putting this little bore. So when you insert this in here, you'll notice there's a thread, but there's also little O-rings here, right? What the O-rings do is when you put it in here and you're tightening it up, it gives you a little bit of tension on this piece here so it doesn't unthread out. We put a thread on this side and we put a thread on this side, so maybe you want to put it this way or maybe you want to put it that way.